Yo, what's up, guys? Terrell here. So I don't know if anyone's noticed, but yeah, ads, partner-related material, thumbnails. Yeah, I managed to get this account partnered, and the irony of it all was it was intentionally meant to. Over this way, I originally intended to get this thing partnered as a backup account, and I didn't actually expect it to get partnered. And then I realized, oh wait, if you're a partner and you're trying to, you can actually get another account partner just because you're a partner. So in retrospect, I probably should have thought that out. But oh well. I mean, nothing's really gonna change. It's still gonna be a vlog channel. I've seen there are so many big YouTubers that have vlog channels. It's not really a big deal if I don't post amazing HD content over the interwebs. Because that's not what this channel's for. This channel's for me to randomly start stating shit whenever I feel like it and post a video whenever the fuck I feel like it. Um, but what this video right here is about is actually about a specific topic, and the reason why this is on the Insane Game for channel is because I have an ass amount of videos I still need to do for that channel, and this topic isn't that big of enough of a deal. What this topic is you hear all the pointless ass Naruto discussions, the pointless ass One Piece discussions, the pointless ass Bleach discussions, the pointless ass Fairy Tail, Toriko, Hitman Reborn discussions. You know, the two of them that are around. You know what? I'm tired of that. This is literally a video that is asking what you guys expect in a shonen. That is the whole purpose of this video. I'm tired of talking about individual shonens and the bullshit questions that go with them. Like, who's your favorite admiral? Who's your favorite Straw Hat Pirate? Who's your favorite fucking Hokage? Who you think? How you think Madara's gonna die? You know, I'm tired of that shit. I'm tired of seeing the same dumbass questions and me supposed to take that shit seriously. Like, if you've been on here long as I have, or at least have been into anime period as long as I have, you've heard these questions before, and it's so fucking boring. It's so boring. It's okay when the shit first comes out. Like when we first heard about the Shibukai, you know that was fun when we first heard about it and we were hearing about that. But I don't want to don't reinstate the question after we've been established all the Shibukai, because after that point we've already had the discussion. There's no point in reintroducing the discussion. But what this video is about is, what do you expect from a shonen? What are your expectations of a shonen? What are things you look for in a shonen? The shonens are usually adventure-ish titles in a sense. The one thing I like about shonen is that they have a hint of originality. Not a show that seems like a blatant ripoff of something ridiculously close, which to me is what Toriko kind of feels like. Now, I'm not gonna say Toriko's bad, but I'm gonna say the concept for Toriko feels like a ripoff of like part of Goku's like self. I feel like Toriko is another version of Goku inside his body, because Jesus Christ, there are so many blatant ripoffs from Toriko to Dragon Ball Z. It's insane. The premise of itself sounds like Goku if he wasn't a Saiyan. Like, literally, you put Goku in this situation, there'd be nothing different. Nothing fucking different. The only difference is that Toriko has is more knowledgeable when it comes about like different types of animals and food. That's about it. It's about the same damn thing from what it looks like. I don't like that. I don't like that in my shonens where it's a blatant ripoff. I mean, fuck. He even has the same goddamn color scheme as Goku. The only difference is that he's a little bit more bluer than Goku is. But he is the same body build, the same clothes-ish. The clothing design is almost the same. It's not something I care for. I don't like things that are like that fucking obvious. The other thing is, I like shows that are funny. I'm talking to you, Reborn, because you were not fucking funny. This is which kind of goes in the thing about people say Reborn is funny. Reborn is not funny. Reborn is annoying as shit. But that's going into something else. My thing is, I like shows that have a decent amount of comedy and good comedy, not people being stupid comedy, which is what Reborn has the majority of the time. I mean, I've looked at newer chapters and I've looked at older chapters. It seems like the basic around the most of the comedy around Reborn is just people being stupid, especially in the beginning with the whole I don't realize that this baby's in the mafia and all this other shit. I think Naruto has good comedy. I think Mare has a good comedy. I think Zatchbell has good comedy. I think comedy can be done right in a shonen. And I think a shonen should be able to be light-hearted and dark as shit without going too far on one side. Mare kind of has this problem because Mare is dark, but Mare isn't as dark as it could have been because Mare is a little bit too light compared to other shonens, and that's the other thing I don't like about that. I also don't like, I mean, in shonens, the things I look for characters with depth. That's the other thing. I don't like these. I want characters with depth, and that doesn't mean you need to have a great goal. I mean, fuck, some of my favorite characters have very simple goals. Fuck, Zatch wants to be king of the Momoto world. Fuck, Ren wants to beat Satan. That's not a complicated goal. King of the pirates, next Hokage. Fuck Bleach because I don't care. You don't have to have a very complicated goal to you be a deep character. But you have to. But if it's delivered in the right way with the right personality, it works. The way it works would be Naruto and Luffy is the most common examples. Naruto wants to be Hokage, and the one thing I do give Shippuden credit, even though I prefer Part 1 to Part 2 for Naruto, the one thing I give Shippuden is that Naruto stopped thinking all I just need to do was be strong, and start realizing that as a Hokage, there are many different things you're going to have to deal with. Just being strong is only accounting for one part of the job. There's more to Hokage than just being military strong and, just strong yourself. I like that growth. With Luffy, it was more of you can't think that just because you trained the majority of your childhood that you're going to kick ass. Which goes into another point I like about, I expect in the shonen, but I'll get to that in a second. You have to actually, you're not going to be the almighty motherfucker. But to me, that's the way it works. Not fucking plots where it revolves around Natsu needs to find his parent. That just happens to be a dragon. That is not interesting even on a bullshit level. That's not interesting. I'm sorry. Like, if that was a subplot within Fairy Tail, I could understand that. But it's not. It's Natsu's goal. If that was a subplot, like if that was something he would like to do along the way to achieving something else, I could see that. But not just him wanting to see a parent dragon. And Natsu doesn't see... And Natsu is the other problem the shonens are having, where they're trying too hard to be other shonens. Like, they're not trying to be themselves, they're trying to be other shonens. Because Natsu feels like One Piece. Reborn doesn't have a clone issue, but Reborn has a lot of other issues that annoy the shit out of you. But, as I said, the whole thing with Luffy I was referring back to, I like main character, the whole thing I was referring with Luffy and the strength thing goes into another thing I like about shonens. I'd rather shonens not have main characters who are the only ones who come, for one, either come out the gate hacks, are the only motherfucker to get developed, or are annoying as shit. Toriko falls into like two of those right out the bat. He's hacks when you come out the gate, and he's like one of the only people fighting, which is the only annoying thing. Suna, I think it's the latter. It's just that he's not a likable main. I don't like a character who runs away all the fucking time. And the only reason why he does anything he does is because he doesn't want others to get hurt. I could understand that. That's the other thing about Reborn I don't like, is the fact that I like main characters who choose their destiny, not the ones that just give the fuck up. Because, I mean, from what I hear, he still doesn't want to be a mafia boss. But he's still doing all the mafia shit. It's like, if you're going to do that, and to me, shonens all have this thing where there's so many different variables and things I do and do not like, that it can be delivered in different ways. Like, let's take that whole thing. He didn't want to originally do this, but he is doing it now. Zatchbell has a similar thing. It wasn't like Kyo came out the gate going, I want to help Zatch become Komodo King. That was a development there. There was a character switch there. It wasn't just simply, and yeah, he's doing this to help his friend out. Kyo is gaining nothing from this. Kyo is gaining nothing from helping Zatch. He was just helping Zatch as a friend. That was delivered well with the other things, which goes into the next thing I want to talk about. Side characters, likable side characters, and characters that aren't fucking perfect. That's the other thing I hate. I hate characters. The hacks thing really pisses me off because I don't like characters who win everything, win all the time, and then the development they get is when they finally lose. Especially when it comes so late in the fucking series. Like, and the reason what really sparked this is actually watching today's episode of Blue Exorcist. I went 12 episodes into Blue Exorcist before Ren legitimately like seriously started losing, like got like lost by a huge margin. And I was wondering, I hate it when characters take long as hell to start getting developed. And then I thought about it, but it's like, so I started thinking about it, like, why didn't this bug me when they happened to Ren? It's because with Blue Exorcist, which is, I want to go on record to say, is the only new-ish shonen that's come out in the last few years that I actually like. Because I think Reborn came out in 2005, and I believe Fairy Tail came out. Fairy Tail's not that old. Fairy Tail's like 2 years old, I believe. And Toriko definitely isn't that old. Toriko's like, what, a year? Maybe a year old. Maybe. A year or 2 years old. It's not that old either. Well, I'm saying, there were a lot of things with Blue Exorcist I enjoy. It has a basic plot with cool characters. And they don't all, and yeah, and that's the other thing. You can have, in shonens, I don't mind there being, stereotypical characters. I don't mind there being characters that we've seen in other shit before, if they're done the right way. I mean, for God's sakes, we've seen characters like Hinata and Shamie all over the fucking place in anime. I still love those fucking characters, though. And a character shouldn't be completely likable in the first place, either. Like, you can't, I'm not expecting to love everything about a character. I don't like the fact that Luffy is ridiculously stupid. I don't like the fact that Naruto jizzes every time he sees Sasuke. I'm not expecting to like everything about the character. It wouldn't make sense. I mean, I put it this way. I don't like Nami for a few reasons. But I respect her for what she does in the series. It's that simple. I respect her as a navigator and as a smart female character. As much as I don't like Nami, I respect what she does. You can't do that with other fucking series, like, which goes into one other thing. I'm just throwing out a whole bunch of points, so I'm sorry. I mean, this is a vlog. This is a vlog discussion, so you weren't expecting this to be, logical in the first place. It has to have a decent amount of pacing. That's the main thing I like. I like in shows, a decent amount of pacing. Reborn, once again, you motherfucker. I sure did you better. I'm gonna hold that against Reborn until the end of the time. The fact that I saw Aisho and Aisho did what Reborn was doing with Suna better. I don't like a character that takes forever to change. Because when shit gets rough, it shouldn't take you 50 episodes to realize, oh shit, shit's getting rough. I have to deal with this. It wasn't with Luffy. I mean, you could kind of say that with One Piece because technically out of the gate, Luffy was beating everybody up until Crocodile. But the thing with me with that is that he didn't beat every one of these fucking characters easily. He took damage from almost every one of the characters past. I mean, he took damage on Buggy, even though that wasn't really real damage. I guess the real damage I would say is around Krieg and Arlong. Well, I mean, which both come in around episode 20 and 30 something. I mean, these are characters that show up relatively earlier. Characters that I don't want to see a character just slouch around for 20 episodes. Naruto definitely changed within 20 episodes. I want to be able to look at episode 1 Naruto, episode 1 Luffy, episode 1 Senna. Yes, I'm going to hold that against Reborn until the end of time, as I've said previously, because I still did it better. And then go to episode 20 and them still be the same. It's 20 fucking episodes. Something has changed. And don't have likable characters. And throughout the majority of the major aspect for shonens is the shonens usually are group series. There are usually a lot of characters in shonen. There are very small shonens that don't have a decent sized group of characters. You have the smallish kind of group with like Blue Exorcist, the giant fucking groups in Bleach. You should be able to like at least a good sizable amount of characters. You can only have one favorite character, but you should still be able to like certain amounts of characters. I mean, Naruto and One Piece are the two examples there. Fuck, even Aisho, who have rival football teams, I like characters out of that one. Even though one of them is a racial stereotype, which I'm talking about, the U.S. team, the space team that has like the black dude on their team and the cowboy dude, which is so fucking stereotypical because the black guy seems like someone someone that's definitely out of like the hood. They even put him in the hood, and then the stereotypical redneck is the stereotypical redneck in some sense. But still, as I'm saying, I should really like a decent sized amount of characters, which I'm kind of in the sense the things I'm expecting from Shonen. I'm also telling you the reasons why I don't like shows like Fairy Tail or shows like Toriko or Hitman Reborn. Because Hitman Reborn, I think everyone is a fucking moron in there. Like that was my first impression, and even going into the characters, they're still fucking morons. I mean, like Gokudera's reason for not liking his sister. It's not funny and it's stupid. It's really fucking stupid. Toriko's wow. Toriko I kind of give a little slack. Toriko's premise isn't interesting at all, and Toriko doesn't make it interesting. That's the reason why. Which is the other thing I can say in shonen. I like shonen who can take a simple premise and make it interesting. As I said before with the other things, I'm gonna use a different example. I believe it's either Berserk or Fist of the North Star that has the whole "I need to save my girlfriend" kind of plot tagline at the beginning of it. Beautiful Joe has the same kind of tagline. Why does Beautiful Joe interest me more than Berserk or Fist of the North Star, whichever one has that plot tagline? It's because it's delivered in a more interesting way. You can do a simple plot and still have a great story. I mean, Zatch Bills is dumb as shit. And also, the main thing about that's this other thing. With characters, I don't want these ridiculously buff characters. Like with Goku, it was with Dragon Ball, it was understandable because you grew up with most of the main characters. So when they got buff, it didn't bug you because you grew up with them. Like you related to them when you were younger, and it's just them growing as people. But like when you come out the gate with a ridiculously buff character, it kind of makes me not give a shit because it's just like, oh, this nigga's hacks. Like I expect the character to be hacks when he's buffed out. And the overpowered shit, like Beelzebub, for example. That's the one thing I don't like about Beelzebub is that the fact that Olga is ridiculously overpowered. And from what I understand, it took him almost until episode 20 to do that. The same issue Reborn has. I don't think you should have to wait that long for a character to get good or for you to give a shit or for a character to get a development. You should be developing the character and his issues throughout the beginning of the story because that's what the beginning is set up to be. It's this initial development. Not this 20 episode, let me wait for a minute, then let you know what's going on. No, and that's if the plot is interesting enough. Not with simple shit that have taglines like I want to get rid of the demon baby or I'm going to, or the other thing I'm going to mention is that we don't need ridiculous gimmicks through every episode. It works depending on how it's delivered. Like the gimmick for Reborn about the whole shooting I forgot how to pronounce it, the deferation shot, and you go to Koriwa Zombie Desukai and you have fucking Ayumu transforming into this really awkward girl outfit every fucking episode. That's annoying in itself, and so is the deferation shot. But I like Is This a Zombie? Koriwa Zombie Desukai. I don't like Reborn. So it's not really. I mean, when it comes to shonens, these are things I come to expect. I expect more. I expect three-dimensional characters. I expect characters who aren't perfect. I don't want hacked out characters. I want characters who have problems because they're easy to relate to. Who relates to a perfect motherfucker that goes around beating the shit out of somebody? That shit is cool, but it's not anything you could get involved with. I could never say, just like looking at some of these series, I can never say I could totally relate. People ask me why I like Mare. Because Ginta as a character, as a main, I relate to like a motherfucker. For maybe two reasons. For one, his mindset is very similar to mine. And secondly, the character, at the beginning of the series, he is known as a weird motherfucker who dreams about going to other worlds. I don't give a fuck who you are. There are very few little kids who haven't done that. When I was younger, I used to wish I could travel to Kanto and catch fucking Pokemon. Or just fight niggas. Like, when you get involved into a show enough, you feel like you want to put yourself in the show. And I've mentioned this before in other videos. I like to put myself in shows. Those are characters I can relate to. I like that kind of shit. I can't relate to Toriko on any level. The only thing the Toriko I can relate to is the fact that, oh yes, I like to eat. I can't relate to Natsu because Natsu's way too fucking simplistic of a character. Natsu's a character whose goal is essentially to find a parent. You don't even, and what bugs me about that's not a plot for a shonen. That's not a tagline for a character for a shonen. That would be something as an emotional series. That seems like something that would work as an emotional series, but not just stupid shit. It's like Reborn doesn't have a tagline. You don't have nothing you can get behind. There should be a message there too. When it comes to shonens, I like messages. I like a certain level of deepness. You don't have to be the deepest fuck in the world. I like shit like Zatchbell and Mare, and those aren't deep. Those are barely deep at all. I don't mind the comedy, but if it's delivered well, I don't mind slow development if it's paid. If the characters are fun and the episodes are fun, because technically it's kind of, I mean, but then again, Ren isn't a, I mean, Ren from Blue Exorcist isn't a good example because Ren got a whole bunch of fucking development to begin with. I mean, with the whole shit with his father dying and everything, so that's technically not the best example, but you get where I'm coming from. Did you know I want characters that don't who are likable? That's one of the main things. You have a likable character, a fairly interesting plot, and the delivery is good. Most other things aren't that big of a deal. That's just my thing. And this comes off very incoherent because this is a ridiculous random ass vlog, but I'm hitting around 22 minutes. So if you've watched the entirety of this video, I want you to put in the comment section, shame me for the win. What I'm about to do now is I'm about to work on my video game backlog before Catherine comes in by the end of the month. And right now I'm tackling the rest of Arc Rise of Fantasia. I'm only 36 hours into the game because I put it down after a certain point, because if anyone knows, Arc Rise Fantasia has horrible voice acting. It's not like ridiculously hard, and that I have to go back and read plot points because I've legitimately forgotten a lot of things about Arc Rise Fantasia in terms of plots and some of the characters. But anyways, that's just my thoughts, and if you want to make a response, it's perfectly fine. But that is all for me today. I have work tomorrow, and it is 11, almost 12 o'clock, so I'm going to play Arc Rise Fantasia for an hour. An hour and a half, something. Probably watch some YouTube videos and then go to fuck to bed. So, later days. Peace.